What does music mean for you? How's it going, y'all? It's me, Space Cadet. And music has become a really, really big part of my life these past few years. To me, music is one of the purest forms of self-expression. I really express myself through the music I listen to. And depending on what song you're listening to, it can represent different things. Sad, mad, happy music, and everything in between. No matter what you're feeling, there's always a song out there to represent what you're going through. I really started getting into music as a whole when I was in middle school. I mean, I'd listened to songs before that. It's not like one day I just heard my first song and it changed my life. But middle school's really where I started to branch off and find my own music and really start to have the feelings for music that I do today. Before then, I'd really only listened to the music my dad played, which was good music. The songs were good and I sang along and stuff like that. But they didn't really mean anything to me. It was just noise to have in the background. That wasn't until sometime in my middle school years I discovered this YouTube channel called Promoting Sounds, and they do exactly that. They promote a lot of artists' music on their platform. If you've never heard of them before, I really recommend going and checking them out, although they do mostly promote sad songs, just overall sad music. But in that time of my life, I was a really sad person, and it really just expressed how I felt, and I listened to them religiously for a long time, keeping up with every single song that they released on the daily. And those times have since passed, but I do still listen to a lot of their music, and to this day still have a playlist dedicated just to them. Songs like Out of My Mind, I Am Him, Numb, Love Mark, and Voices in My Head, along with a bunch of others, but those are just the ones that really stick out that I wanted to mention. And after I started listening to these songs, I really started to understand why music existed at all and what music meant to me. But since then, I have for the most part moved on from their stuff. This was the first time I started listening to my own music, and it really started to help define me for who I am. But after listening to Promoting Sounds for a while, I started to branch out into a lot of different types of rap music. Artists like Eminem, Suicide Boys, Big X the Plug, Lil Darky, J. Cole, and the list goes on. I'm sure there's a bunch I've forgotten in there. I would list off each song from them that I like, but I'd like to keep this video at a decent size. So just if you've wanted to go check out any of those artists before, I really recommend it. Eminem, everybody's heard of, but anybody else, if you've heard of them and you wanted to check their stuff out, I really recommend going and checking their stuff out. I personally really like a lot of their music. Now, obviously, no artist is perfect. Not every song that they release is a banger, but most of the songs that those guys have released, I think are good. And through this kind of branching out to rap music, I did stumble across a couple songs from people that I don't normally listen to, but I still thought they'd be worth mentioning. And that is I Look Good and Till I Collapse. And I listened to mostly Promoting Sounds and this various rap music that I had picked up. For a while, I listened to a lot of that. I was kind of isolated to that a little bit. I wasn't really branching out to anything else, which I was raised in the South. I was exposed to a lot of country music, but country music's never really resonated with me as these other songs have. And that's not a shot at country music. That's not to say country music's bad or anything like that. Everybody has their own tastes and wants for what they want from a song and music in general. But I've just always been around country music and it's never really hit me the same way. And that was until I was introduced to EDM music. And that was like rediscovering music all over again. And I instantly fell in love. The first EDM song I fell in love with was Hieroglyph, and it just kind of spiraled from there. And I now listen to a bunch of different types of EDM music from a bunch of different artists. I'll probably flash a bunch of the EDM music I listen to on screen. So if any one of those piques your interest or catches your eye, I really recommend going and checking out any one of those different songs. But now EDM has become my biggest genre of music listened to and one of the biggest parts of my life as a whole. I really love EDM music now, and I genuinely don't know how I would get out of bed without it nowadays, which is a little bit of an exaggeration, but it's just became so ingrained into my life now that I genuinely don't know how I've went this long without knowing what EDM music was, which I have been listening to EDM for a couple of years now, with my most recent find being No One Does It Like. And I didn't realize up until now that both Hieroglyph and No One Does It Like is made by the same person, but hey, there you go. Hopefully I've had enough time to flash all of the songs that I wanted to up on the screen. If you have any EDM recommendations, leave them down in the comments below. I'll be reading every single one of those. Or just let me know what your favorite song is down below. Any genre, just what's your favorite song, and let me know what it means to you. What do you think of listening to these songs? Just let me know down in the comments. I'd really love to hear what you guys have to say, which I have made a video on a song already, Feeling Good by Michael Bublé, more specifically the One Piece AMV adaptation of that song, but I just felt like I needed to talk about music as a whole just because of how big of a part it plays in my life. But I think that's about everything I wanted to talk about for this one. I just don't know what I'd do with myself if I could listen to music on the daily. If I'm sitting here recording videos, or if I'm off cooking something, I'll slap on my favorite song and it just brightens my mood instantly. Or if I'm not feeling in the best of mood, I'll throw on a Suicide Boys song or something from Promoting Sounds. I can always turn to music and there will be something waiting for me. But with all that being said, remember to like it if you liked it, sub if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one.